Hello class, welcome to section 9.3. This one's on consumer loans. And there's three main topics to go over in this section. That is three ways of approaching figuring out monthly payments on loans, figuring out finance charges. And they are, as you can see, the add-on interest method, unpaid balance, and the average daily balance method. Add-on interest, and we'll go over the formulas in a second, is where you add interest onto the loan before determining the payment, usually used for installment loans. So that simply means whatever the interest is, add it back on to the total amount, divide it out by the number of days you have to pay, and that's your, or number of months you have to pay, and that's your monthly balance. Unpaid balance method is where you, I said the interest is based off the previous month's balance. So in other words, each month you figure out the finance charge on the previous month, and then combine that with any extra charges on a credit card, for example, plus any payments that you made. That determines the next month's balance. Average daily balance is one of the more common ones used by credit card companies, where you add the balance for each day of the month, based on how many days. Like, for example, if you charge $200 in the first 10 days, during those first 10 days, you charge $200. You'll be charged $200 per each of those 10 days. And the next 10 days, you charged $80. Then you charge 80 days per those dollars. Then you divide that total by the number of days in the month. And that's what helps you find out the finance charge. What they know to charge you for. So we're going to go over an example for each one of these. So add-on interest. So to find the monthly payment, as I said before, it's the principal plus the interest divided by and the number of months that you'd be paying. So for example, don't always think it's going to be 12. If you're paying over a 2-year period, that's 24 months. So in that case, n is 24. So for example, a new computer costs you $1180. You pay using an add-on loan for 3 years at 19%. What are your monthly loans? Or really monthly payments. So we can use our basic simple interest formula. Put in what we know. 1180 of the principal. 0.19 is our rate, and then of course for 3 years, so we have an interest of $672. So to find our monthly payments, again we add it to the principal, 1180 to get 1852, divided by 36 because we have 36 payments in 3 years, since it is monthly, and we get a monthly payment of $51.46. Now here's another type of question you can find using our add-on interest. What is the annual interest for the last month of your loan? So using the same example, what is the annual interest for the last month? So what this means is, what's the interest you pay on each individual month, not overall. Because you're not necessarily paying 18%. 18% is a small number. You're not necessarily paying 18% of that 720. The way it's calculated is you look at what is the amount paid monthly towards the principal. So if we're paying of this $51.46, how much of that is actually going towards principal? If you're familiar with a loan, of course you pay off your loan itself, but then you have to pay off the interest. So all of your payments aren't actually going to the principal. And depending on the type of loan you have, like mortgages, it's very skewed. But in this case, we divide 1180 by 36. So in other words, if we were to just pay off the loan itself, our monthly payments would be $32.78. Now, obviously they're not. We're paying more than that, which means the interest each month is $18.68. The difference between $51.46 and the $32. So again, we're considering how much do we pay monthly towards principal. Well, we normally pay monthly if we didn't have interest. So that interest constitutes 56% of the overall of the payment for just towards principal. And again, we're just considering principal because we want to find the true interest rate on what we're actually paying for, not necessarily the interest. So just the principal, $18.68 accounts for about 56% of that payment, which is a pretty significant amount. So each month, what this means is each month, the actual interest you're paying, quite literally, is 56%. So then for a year, and that's any month again, so whether it be the first month or the last month. So per year, the percentage you're paying is actually 628%. And so what this goes to show is just how the interest on like a loan for a credit card, for example. This is a separate example, but a credit card is a good example of how what you're actually paying as far as interest goes. The unpaid balance method, we use the same formula, I equals PRT, and we say P is the previous month balance plus the finance charge plus any purchases made minus the returns minus any payments. So really you're just considering all what you pay, all of what you owe. Where R is our annual interest rate, and T now is 1/12, because we're considering 1 month's balance. So for example, with the credit card interest rate 21%, and your unpaid balance from last month was $600, you purchased $160 worth of clothes since, and then paid $90 towards that amount. Using our unpaid balance, what's your next credit card? What is your credit card bill this month? And then what's the following month of finance charge? So the finance charge in the previous month, again, of course, is the interest rate based on the balance, which is $10.50. So we're considering the new month's balance, the new credit card balance. So we have to add on the finance charge. So here's what we have. What we're charged with is, of course, the previous $600, the finance charge on that, the $10.50, the $160 which we purchased, and of course we can take away the $90 because that's a payment. So it leaves us with a new payment of $680.50 for the following month. And we can calculate our finance charge on that, which would be 680 times 0.21 times the 112 for $1191. And then finally, average daily balance. For the first 10 days of the month, you charge $150 to this credit card. During the next 10 days, you charge $92. During the last 10 days, you charge $25 to this credit card. What is the finance charge that will appear on your statement? So now we're looking specifically for the finance charge. So again, here's the breakdown. Like you said, the way that this method works is for each day that you have a certain balance on your check or your credit card, for example. So during those first 10 days, you accumulated $150 worth of payments. So you're charged $150 per day, so $1,500. For the next 10 days, you were charged $92, so that's 92 times 10. Last 10 days, 25, so 25 times 10. And we get these three figures, 1,500, 920, and 250. To find the average daily balance, you add up all those figures, 1,500, 920, and 250, divide by 30, number of days in this particular month, you get 89. So your average daily balance that the credit card company is allowing to use is $89. So on average for the month, you have about $89 worth of payments. Now from that, we'll use this to make the finance charge. Again, using I equals P RT. T is 30 over 365 since the credit card is being used for 30 days out of this particular year. And then putting our numbers in there, we get a finance charge of $1.54. So this concludes our section on 9.3. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. And